Just wanted to show you about some segmented turning and how I tend to use hot melt glue just to hold these rings while I true them up, which is often needed. As you can see, sometimes they're not perfectly flat and I don't have a drum sander to sand all these down, so I tend to do it on the lathe. This here is for a couple of horns that I'm making, and this is one of the larger rings in that horn. It's a 12 segment ring, as you can see, and it measures about just over a foot in diameter. It's a fairly chunky piece of wood, but as long as it can be held flat onto that piece on the lathe there, the amount of force required to shear it off would be quite significant. So hot melt glue will do the job pretty well. The only problem is when the workpiece tends to hang quite a bit further away from here, for example a bowl or something. So if you're cutting here quite a distance away from the drive itself, then the amount of force that is exerted can cause shearing of the glue here. So with this it's usually not a problem. So I'll mount it first of all. I tend to use these crisscross pattern so I can align it's about as close as we can get it, I guess. Important to make sure the glue is really hot, so when it comes out it can spread easily, go into the little grooves on the wood fibers itself. That's not really required, I suppose, but I know I'll be trimming this as well, so just for a little bit of extra security there, tend to add this little bit. That'll do pretty well even without this extra bit of glue. And now it's simply a matter of letting that dry completely before we can work on it. This is about 5 to 7 minutes later. You can see that the glue is dried, so when you touch it, it doesn't stick. You don't feel that it's sticky as such. That's probably when it's nice and dry. And it's reasonably secure. We'll run it at a slow speed and then gradually build it up. This is about 720 RPM which is usually okay to start off. So I'll just flatten this out now. This is a 3/8 inch bowl gouge. Already cutting a bit smoother, so you know that the surface is relatively flat. That's the point. You have to slow down as you go towards the center because the rotation speed of rotation is less. Use a scraper next. Use the finger as a guide against, like that. Maybe a couple of the bumpers there, as you can see. Ease off after that. So until we get a smooth cut. Again, eases off. Can have a look down here. No, it's perfectly flat. Next thing we need to do is to true up this end. We can do it pretty quickly. essentially that bit is done. So it's simply a matter of taking the hot melt glue out. I tend to use isopropyl alcohol, which will release it. Give it a bit of time to work, and you've got to be a bit patient. Just sustain pressure and be patient. Don't try and pry it off within one go. You can see it's starting to release. So this bit now, because of the alcohol, can just be taken off. That one's ready to join. There. So hopefully that was of some use. Obviously be aware of the limitations of what this glue can do. Within those limitations, you can use them. So the usual disclaimer follows. And the usual things about safety and that sort of stuff, all those things apply. Anyway, hope this was of some use. Cheers.